Gwydion. Gwydion.
Gwydion, what are you doing, boy?
I was just looking.
How dare you take leave of your duties? Resume your chores immediately.
Yes, Mannanin. Master.
Had your parents survived your wretched infancy, the sight of your sloth alone would have killed them.
They would not have been proud of me.
No, but fate has favored you. Few orphaned youths can know such fortune. You are lucky to be here to serve me.
I am very lucky.
Indeed. Now get to work.
Such is the story of young Gwydion's life to this point. What's a poor boy to do? Oh well, in resignation, Gwydion obediently follows Mannanin into the house. The old wizard looks at you menacingly.
My office needs dusting. Attend to it now.
This is Mannanin's detestable pet. This is the main entry room of the wizard's house. The front door is to the south. Creaky stairs go upstairs, and doorways lead north and east. It's a painting of the wizard from long ago. You wonder if he was ever young. You need to get closer. Every surface is dust-free. You may not like what you do, but you do it well. This is Mannanin's private study. A huge oak desk sits covered with writing implements, and a chart covers the wall behind it. A cabinet takes up residence in the corner, while two massive bookshelves fill themselves with every subject. The wizard fancies himself the scholar. The massive desk is made from oak. The wizard does all his reading, writing, and arithmetic here. It's your feather duster. The oak cabinet has a brass handle on its door. Your feather duster is lying on its top. You're not sure, but it could be a chart. Then again, perhaps not. You open the desk's only drawer, but you see nothing interesting. Again, you search the contents of the drawer, but find nothing interesting. Persistent, aren't you? Upon closer examination of the contents of the desk, you find a letter. You remove it and take it with you. You carry a letter addressed. You drop to your hands and knees and hide the item under your bed. This is your own pitiful bedchamber. Compared to Manannan's fine room, yours is almost a cell. The bed is hard and uncomfortable, with only a threadbare blanket and a small, flat pillow. The other furnishings are junk, but as poor as it is, it's your haven, as the wizard never enters it. This hallway is on the second floor of the old wizard's house. There are 2 stairways here. Adjacent to them are 2 doors, both leading to, thankfully, separate bedrooms. Manannan spends his nights in that bed. That he does so alone and for so long as you've lived here would amuse you, if your situation weren't identical. Manannan's elegant bedchamber is a display room for the land's finest furnishings. From a regal canopy bed to an expertly carved closet, you can't help but compare it to your own meager space. There is a small drawer in the front of the mahogany vanity. It's a lovely handheld mirror. Manannan's a vain old codger, isn't he? A bottle with a green leaf stopper contains some cat mint. Blank parchments for those late-night urges to jot something down. They're probably used to notate new ideas for making your life more miserable. A comb, perfectly suited for the maintenance of long facial fleece. A bottle with a cat's head on it. Manannan must be allergic to cats. You wonder if it runs in the family. No way to know. You take the wizard's hand mirror. Unless you have... It is a simple dresser containing Manannan's unmentionables. The thought of those conjures many memories of washing them. A blue bottle labeled with a V. Given local topography, you're guessing it stands for vertigo. Manannan must have a little trouble with heights. The dresser's drawer it's a bottle of rose petal essence. You've never wanted to smell like a rose. Chocolate creams. No, wait a minute. They're chocolate-coated insects. Yuck! The dresser's... The back of the wizard's closet is too dark to see clearly. The wizard's blue-peaked hat sits in the bottom of the closet. The wizard's red hat is resting in the bottom of the closet. The back of the wizard's closet is too dark to see clearly. You search behind the clothes hanging in the wizard's closet. You're startled to discover an ancient parchment scroll. Its ink has faded, but it seems to be a map. Taking this treasure, you leave everything else exactly as it was. This is one of the wizard's linen gowns. You see a black cloak hanging in the closet. You search the pockets of the black cloak. Suddenly you discover a small brass key. What could it unlock?
You know better than to go through my personal belongings.
Manannan caught you snooping around. Now you're nothing but dust on the ground. You search the pot. You've never... You Looks like you were caught red-handed. You You've never... You search your star... You search... You get on your hands and knees and quickly shove all your possessions under the bed. The wizard gives you an evil glare. On our left, we have the beautiful Ludorian desert, featuring miles and miles of endless sand. Don't go wandering too far. You see nothing on the dusty floor but a dead fly. To the right of the desert begins the fertile land of Ludor. Bandits have been known to hide out there, so watch out. Ah, the scenery and sounds of the river-soaked woodlands, a must for any journeyer. Mind you, stay away from our eight-legged friends. We grow them big around here. Finally, the port town and ocean, the best way to arrive and the only way you'll leave. It's a fly. You pick up the dead fly and drop it into your hand. Disgustedly, you look at it. You put your eye to the glass. It amazes you how near everything seems. You could even see squirrels climbing faraway trees. No wonder the wizard knows of all activities in Ludor. This is where Manannan eats his meals. You, of course, are not supposed to eat here. You eat in the kitchen. There is a pine table and benches large enough to seat at least 10 people. But the wizard has never had any guests for dinner. You scrutinize the moose head carefully. While it is long past its grazing days, you feel sorry for the poor old thing. A tin cup has been left on the table. Manannan was not pleased to be served blackroot juice in anything other than his chalice heirloom. The perfect servant, aren't you? The large dining table is made of pine planking. Matching benches run its length on both sides. The table is big enough to seat at least 10 people, though you doubt it's accommodated more than a tenth of that. This is where Manannan would place his potted plants, if he had any, along with a smidgen less detest for anything that grows. Nimbly, you grab the nasty cat by the scruff of its neck, avoiding its needle-sharp claws. And now that you have it, what are you going to do with it? The cat... You are not... The despicable... You are not... The You are not... Nimbly, you grab the nasty cat by the scruff of its neck, avoiding its needle-sharp claws. And now that you have it, what are you going to do with it? You manage to pluck some fur before he viciously scratches and leaps from your arms. With grim satisfaction, you survey your wounds. The wizard's glare makes you suddenly feel very, very small.
I have decided to take a journey.
You take the wooden spoon from the iron rack and keep it with you. You take the carving knife from the iron rack and keep it with you. You retrieve the clay bowl from the kitchen shelf and take it with you. You take the mutton chop and carry it with you. The wizard's mansion has been your home, life, and world. Ludor stretches below you. The hatch is home for the hens and comes complete with a supply of chicken feed. When closed, the coop does its job well. When closed, the hens peck their way around the coop. The views are better from the other side, but that doesn't mean you enjoy them. Manannan's dark house perches like a bird of prey atop the mountain. A steep path winds its way to the base. Potential meals meander about the coop. A tree grows bravely near the wizard's house. The precarious path winds around Manannan's mountain. Watch your step. An eagle sits in its nest, tilting its head as it eyes you warily. Watch your step. The land of Ludor spreads before you, promising a world of opportunity. Manannan's mountain dominates the sky. The precarious The lone mountain rises from the forest to a cloud-encircled peak. The winding path leads steeply up the mountain. It is difficult to see your house from here. Big, immovable lumps of stone, otherwise known as boulders. A beautiful stream ripples through these stately trees. You see a cave and a hill to the north. The soft grass soothes your aching feet. Wet mud lines the banks of the stream. You kneel and scoop some of the mud onto the wooden spoon. In the wake of the Wizard's Mountain, the northern end of town houses the library. Once the pride of the town, the library is now a forgotten shell. The door is boarded up. There's a note pinned up beside it. The window doesn't appear to be fully closed. You slide the knife's thin blade through the gap and easily flip the latch. The window through which you innocently entered remains your sole means of escape. The library is dark, and you squint through the still and musty air. Rows of knowledge, local and wide, sit lost to an apathetic audience. This book has been left more recently, as in the last 20 years. The rest of the pages are blank. You're not. The note says, due to a decline in literate members, this library is closed indefinitely. It's you. If the town of Ludor had a center, you would be standing in it. Here you can find all the essentials an aspiring traveler might need. There's also a store. The seagull feasts on its latest lunch. A discarded fishing net lies on the ground. It has been here so long that grass has begun to grow over it. Catch of the day's reject. The forest grass. The mistletoe hangs from the branches of the tree. There are few dried sprigs mingled with the green mistletoe. You search among the hanging mistletoe until you find a sprig that has dried. You break it off and carry it with you.
Hurry along there, Mildred.
Yes, George.
Mama, my button's not done up!
Button? Haven't you taught him anything, Mildred?
It's a bit difficult for him, George.
What a beautiful garden, you think. The residents must take great care of it. Dew has formed on the petals from the night before. A cottage sits near the southern edge of Ludor. It is fronted by a picket fence and well-tended garden. There are bowls of porridge on the table, a far cry from the fish, honey, and berries you were expecting. Homely bunch, aren't they? The wooden chair is very large and solidly built. You feel very small and uncomfortable in this big chair. This chair is much too hard. The medium-sized chair looks soft and comfortable. You sink too deeply in the overstuffed chair. This chair is much too soft. The cute little chair looks sturdily built. This chair feels just right. You taste the porridge and decide that this bowl of porridge is too hot. You taste the porridge and decide that this bowl of porridge is too cold. Just right. So you take it with you. You flop onto the biggest bed. This bed is much too hard. You are in the Bear family's cozy bedroom. 3 beds share with a chest of drawers. This looks like a nice, soft bed. Maybe it's Mama Bear's. This is a big, old bed. It must be Papa Bear. A dresser sits in the corner of the room. You closely examine the contents of the drawer. You can see a very ornate pincushion in the bottom of the drawer. Something tells you it belongs to Mama Bear. A small green bottle rests in the bottom of the drawer. A small blue bottle. There is a little silver sewing thimble here. There is a spool of black thread in the drawer. You pick up the thimble. As handy as a small bottle may be in other games, you see no use for it in this one. You jump onto the medium-sized bed and sink deep into its fluffy depth. This bed is much too soft. You lie upon the smallest bed and snuggle down into the pillow. Ah, this bed is just right. You've fallen asleep. Oh no, Papa Bear has found you sleeping in Baby Bear's bed. You're in for it now.
Keep out of our house, human.
Just... You close... You pick up the thimble. You sincerely hope that head isn't real. After all, what species would hunt its own? Holding the silver thimble beneath a dew-filled flower, you gently tip the flower so its dew runs into the thimble. You move from flower to flower, repeating the process until your thimble is brimming with dew. You take a handful of fertile soil from the garden. The sand stretches ever westward, as far as your eye can see. The sand, cacti are common in deserts, and these are no exception. A snake has shed its skin and left it in the desert sun. You retrieve the dried snake skin from the hot desert sand. It's delicate and could easily crumble. You can watch your step. You scoop up a small handful of sand. You retrieve your attention. You pick and poke among the fallen acorns looking for dried ones. You eventually find 3 dried acorns and take them with you. The steps are made of narrow, rough stones, crudely constructed. You are on a flight of steep underground stone steps. They curve downward toward a dim light. The open trapdoor is above you. The trapdoor from the wizard's study is open. The burning torches throw flickering shadows across the walls, making the room even more ominous. You look in awe around this torchlit underground room. It appears to be a laboratory. The shelves are filled with numerous items. You spy a bottle labeled saffron. There is a bottle labeled toadstool powder. You see a bottle labeled toad spittle. You spot an empty flask. Here is a bottle labeled nightshade juice. The shelves are filled. You pick up the bottle labeled toad spittle and take it with you. You pick up the empty flask and take it with you. You pick up the bottle labeled toadstool powder and take it with you. You pick up the bottle labeled saffron and take it with you. You pick up the bottle labeled nightshade juice and take it with you. You pick up the bottle labeled ground fish scales and take it with you. Most of the shelves are the shelves hold skeletons of small animals and birds, some human skulls and bones, and other odd instruments whose use you do not know. Numerous items are strewn about the desk. It's apparent that the wizard doesn't clean down here. You take a covered with most of the form. You pick up. You quick. Drop it. You pull. You feel a strange pulling sensation.
Ouch!
A weathered dock leads into the ocean. As you gaze at the ocean, you imagine sailing away on the waves. A weathered dock, the port town extends an offer to passing ships. Be careful, the water gets deep quickly. Being raised on a mountain didn't leave much time for learning to swim. You scoop up a cupful of ocean water. It's just an... You fill the flask with ocean water. You pull out your magic map. You feel You unlock the oak cabinet using the brass key. Inside, you find the wizard's magic wand. You take it with you, knowing it could mean death if he finds it missing. You quickly pull the levers in the correct most. You pick up the bottle labeled nightshade juice. You pick up the bottle labeled toad spittle. You pick up the bottle labeled toadstool powder. You pick up the bottle labeled saffron. Atop the oak table are a large leather-bound book, a mortar and pestle, a little brazier holding charcoal, a flint, measuring cups, beakers, flasks, and stirrers. You take a closer look at the wizard's work table. Covered with gold trimmings, the old book's leather cover is cracked and worn, its pages yellowed and brittle. The title, however, is clear: The Sorcery of Old. You eagerly thumb through page after page of what you assume to be magic formulas. The ink of the old handwriting is faint and barely readable. Most of the formulas are indecipherable, but a few are in a language you know. You treat the old book with great care, as you can tell it contains recipes for some very old and powerful magic spells. Your hands shake as you realize this book could be the key to your escape from the evil Manannan. You add a pinch of saffron to the vial marked Rose Petal Essence. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the Flying Like an Eagle or a Fly incantation.
Spirits of air, cloud and breeze, lend me your wings that I may seize the opportunity to fly. Allow me passage through the sky.
You wave the magic wand over the vial of Rose Petal Essence. You look. You place the acorns in the mortar. You grind the acorns into a fine powder. You carefully scoop the acorn powder out of the mortar. You put the acorn powder into the bowl. The nightshade. You pour 1 cup of nightshade juice into the bowl. You shouldn't try making atop the oak table. You're picking off. You just
So when
you're You look. You pour the. You light. You place the bowl of ocean water on the charcoal brazier. You remove the bowl before it starts to boil. You add a spoonful of mud to the bowl. The cream. You add the toadstool powder. You save the You blow into the steaming bowl. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the Brewing a Storm incantation.
From nature, I now call on thee, the power of the land and sea. When brew is stirred, all should be warned, the might of the approaching storm.
You wave the magic wand over the bowl. You carefully pour the storm brew into the empty jar. The charcoal brazier burns out. The jar. You add a handful of sand to the flask. You add a handful of fertile soil to the flask. You shake the flask's contents until they are thoroughly mixed. You wave the magic wand over the flask. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the Enhancing Musical Talent incantation.
Earth bearing fruit from one's toiling hands, with patience of timeless, swift sifting sands, swirl through endurance, soaked salty with seas, permit me to please all musically.
You feel the contents of the flask stir slightly as you finish the incantation. You place the acorns in the mortar. You grind the You carefully. You pour 1 cup of nightshade juice into the bowl. You carefully stir the contents of the bowl. You light. You place the bowl on the charcoal brazier. You wait until the nightshade juice is almost gone. A damp, powdery substance remains behind in the bowl. You remove the bowl from the charcoal brazier. You pour the contents of the bowl onto the table. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the Causing a Deep Sleep incantation.
Acorn, nightshade, together mixed, concoction of a deep sleep fixed. From places of much lesser light, you bring to them a long good night.
This You quick You feel a strange pulling sensation. These two. Picking off its wings, you throw the rest away. In your insect form, you fit easily through the hole in the tree. As you buzz around inside the tree, you notice a rope dangling from above. You decide to get out of the tree before the spell wears off. You feel around inside the hollow tree and discover a rope stretching up into the tree. You pull it and, to your amazement, a rope ladder falls from the branches above. You've reached the porch of a shack built in the branches of the oak tree. You'd better be careful. Whoever dwells beyond that doorway may not take kindly to unexpected visitors. A rough opening in the plank serves as the doorway to this ramshackle treehouse. A hole cut into the side acts as a window. You can see someone moving about, but cannot make out any details. A rough opening in the plank. You have entered the treehouse. A sleeping bandit slumps face down on the table, occasionally stirring. Take care not to get too close, or you might wake him. Perhaps you shouldn't just barge in. You very carefully lift the coin purse off the table, practically from under the sleeping bandit's nose. The purse contains some gold coins. You eagerly peek inside the soft leather coin purse and you pull out your magic map. You feel a strange pulling sensation.
Good day to you, young man. What can I do for you?
The counter is for conducting transactions. The store provides supplies enough to meet the needs of the village. A friendly storekeeper bustles busily behind the counter. The short, balding storekeeper seems an amiable fellow. A content, hairy dog sits on the floor of the store. Its name tag reads, Hank. The shelves are stocked with many useful items, such as leather pouches, salt, fish oil, and lard. You pat the hairy dog and are rewarded with a handful of malted hair.
Greetings. What have you for sale?
I have many an item that might interest you. For instance, you might wish to purchase a leather pouch, very suitable for carrying things in, as you might expect.
Indeed. Anything else?
I have numerous consumables that you may wish to acquire. Take a look at the shelf behind me. See if there's anything you would like.
Tell me, good storekeep, what news is there of the outside world?
Oh, I'm afraid I don't keep up much with current events. I have my own concerns, what with my work and family. I don't need any more from anywhere else spoiling my day. Around Ludor, 'tis the same old town as it has always been. Ships come in, ships go out. People come in, people go out. Money comes in, and I'd prefer not to think on the next part.
If you don't mind my asking, how many in your family?
I have about 6 children.
About? Aren't you sure?
I am but the breadwinner of my household. I spend most of my day, each day, tending my shop. If my dearest says that I have 6 children, then who am I to argue with her?
How long have you been married?
10 years. The first marriage was an enjoyable time. The second marriage helped to pass the time. The third was a total waste of time.
And
I have not the desire to spoil my present union with the binds of legal matrimony. Why ruin a perfectly good relationship?
what do you know about Mananan?
The shopkeeper appears a little uncomfortable at the mention of the wizard's name.
I would rather not be discussing the likes of him. Not out loud, anyway. He has a way of knowing what's going on in this town. He can see things only a wizard could see.
Yes, or he knows how to use a telescope.
Besides, he's in charge around here. So long as we stay quiet and peaceful and do as we're asked, no harm will come to us. You should know that, my young man.
Oh, I do. More than you could know. What sort of curfews does Mananan have on the townspeople?
The usual. No noise after nightfall, bed before the 20th hour, no festivities at any time. Nothing unreasonable, I should think.
Especially when saying otherwise means...
Exactly.
Are you keeping well?
As well as can be expected. Aside from the shakes I get from time to time, the sores, the dizziness, the headaches, and the ringing in my ears, I'm doing quite well.
I'm... glad to hear it.
Of course, I'm fine when I don't think on my past wives.
You have nothing further to discuss.
I'd like to purchase something.
Certainly. Take a look at the items on the shelf behind me.
You count out 4 coins and give them to the shopkeeper. You count out 10 coins and give them to the shopkeeper. You count out 8 coins and give them to the shopkeeper. You count out 5 coins and give them to the shopkeeper. You pull out your magic map. You feel a strange pulling sensation. That's it. That. Where you pick up the chicken. You gently pluck a feather from the chicken and gently set it back on the ground. You carefully replace the magic wand exactly as you found it. The cabinet door locks as you shut it. You see an evil sneer come across the wizard's face.
I am hungry. Prepare me a meal at once.
You take the loaf, an apple, and you take the Mananan is impatiently
What is it? Speak quickly, boy.
What are the people of Ludor like?
The wizard gives you a cautionary glance.
Why? Intending to make their acquaintance, are you?
No, I'm just curious. From what you have said in the past, they don't sound very appreciative of you.
Selfish, pathetic creatures requiring constant vigilance. They should have some respect for an old man. It tires me keeping track of their movements, never knowing when one might put a foot out of line.
You have the strangest notion that Manannan's last comment was not an expression.
They sound wretched.
Much like yourself, but they are punished for their disobedience as surely as you are.
This is the kitchen of the wizard's house. Other than your own bedchamber, this is the only place in the house that you feel you can call your own. The wizard rarely enters the kitchen. On cold days, the fireplace is a cozy place to sit. Your heart skips as the wizard gives you an evil look. Wrinkling your nose in disgust, you throw the smelly contents of the chamber pot out the open window. What a way to make a living. This is your own pitiful bedchamber. Manannan eyes you with a snaggle-toothed sneer.
I am going to lie down for a rest. Do not disturb me.
You pull. You feel a strange pulling sensation. You peer
be for you, sir? A good pull of ale, or you rather a dram of rum? My, ain't you the handsome one?
The town tavern is a haven for visitors, reputable and otherwise, to engage in behavior suitable and otherwise. The barrels contain a fair quantity of rum. You'll notice that one is dripping and has the letters DB etched into the side. A tapestry, which bears a striking resemblance to the Jolly Roger, hangs next to a lute on the wall. This instrument looks out of place here.
What do you sell here?
For you, I'd sell more than this here tavern offers. But me husband won't be appreciating that.
I meant, what beverages do you serve?
What's that?
Drinks. What drinks do you serve?
Oh, now you be talking me language.
Somehow you doubt you could ever be talking her language.
This place can sell you the finest liquor the land has to offer.
Anything else?
What else is there? Ale and rum, of course. You're a cutie, you know.
Any news from abroad?
You talking about gossip?
Well,
Don't get much in the way of foreign gossip. Except from the sailors, of course.
sailors?
Sure. They drop anchor, come in here, drink themselves full, then set sail again.
Incredible.
That we get sailors in here?
No, that there aren't wrecked ships all up and down the coastline.
You have nothing else.
Can I help you then?
Just wondering where this instrument came from.
Young man used to come in here a long time ago. About your age, according to me daddy. Had that thing he liked to play. Seemed to make him happy.
The jar is... You start to feel creative, inspired, and ready to play your heart out. The barmaid looks like she can handle...
The lute made this young man happy?
Nah, he ain't done it for the money. Just like to play is all. You know, entertain the customers.
Who was he?
Don't rightly remember. I was only a wee mite then. Think he lived with the wizard, though I might be mistaken.
Why does the lute now hang on the wall?
One day the young man stopped coming over. Daddy found the instrument lying just outside. Said it was real weird how the air around it smelt all smoky, though there weren't no fire about. Anyway, he put it on the wall, in case the man should come back for it.
Do you think he will?
Hard to say.
The barmaid looks like...
May I borrow the lute?
You one of them musy types?
Yes, I am.
I like a man who explores his creative side.
Indeed, I'd very much like to practice with it.
Of course you can have it,
Thank you.
if you agree to play for the establishment.
You want me to play for you?
You're catching on good.
I don't think that I'm ready to perform publicly.
Oh, go on. We ain't had a good performance round here for years.
I couldn't. Really.
Well, the loot will be there if you change your mind.
I'm ready to play.
Wonderful.
When you look upon me, you see only stone, but the soul left within me's my own. Touch me with song, my pain is gone.
That sure was the best performance I've heard.
When was the last one?
There wasn't a last one. That was the first performance I've ever heard. My daddy told me all about the last boy who played here.
When was that?
About 17 years ago. Anyhow, you played so well just now. I see no reason not to let you have the thing.
Thank you.
The perplexed bard is composing some poetry. The forest ends near the base of the mountain. A vast desert stretches out to the west.
Greetings. That's an interesting poem.
Thank you. I wrote it myself. It's not finished, though.
What is it about?
It speaks of a young man longing for a better life,
Naturally.
just as I long for the seductive murmur of an audience anticipating my every word. Say, are you busy?
Fairly.
Pain.
Have you always wanted to be a poet?
No. Before I left my hometown to cross the vast desert to this land, I wanted to be a dancer.
What happened?
I was excommunicated by a populace immune to talent.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No matter. Soon after, I heard the muse call. Bound to her beckoning, she has led me here. Oh,
Have you finished your composition?
not yet. There's something missing, though I can't put my finger on it. What do you think?
Well, the words have lyrical quality, broadly speaking.
Lyrical? That's it. Music. These words would ring all the truer were they sung. Ah, but alas, I have no instrument. Why does the...
Perhaps this will help to inspire you.
This is it! My answer! The key to unlocking the creative force inside! Dawn, it's time to go. The journey's long, my pace won't slow. I'll prove that I have not been beat. There's nothing here, so on my feet, the future's waiting.
It's a pity you didn't have any talent potion left to give him. You peer into the empty pitcher. At the bottom, the word Vandalmere has been etched. You're not... You...
Vandalmere.
You successfully fill the hole with water and thoroughly soak yourself in the process. The pitcher slips out of your hands and shatters at the bottom of the rock. You take the glass bottle from the hole and discover a piece of paper inside. Your eyes adjust to the dark as you struggle to breathe the putrid air.
What is this place?
This lair feels even more inhospitable than your own. A sickly green glow pours from a wide pit, beyond which alcoves lie in darkness. A smooth stone sits on an altar-like pillar. A perfectly smooth, uniquely colored stone sits upon a natural pedestal. This lair... You peer into the glowing pit. Your head begins to spin, and you feel compelled to step closer to the eerie light. Shaking yourself out of it, you wisely refrain from glancing at it directly.
Who comes to my den?
Just a man.
Man? I have known many called man. All wretched, all deceitful. Now,
all stone. As a man, you are not capable of honesty, of truth.
But I am.
As a man, you exist only to break a woman's heart. Shallowness and fear are your bane. Come closer, and I will destroy you.
It feels in the shadows, you see the outline of a woman. Snakes perform a contorted dance from her head. You shiver as you watch them twist and hiss to the sound of your breathing. In the
If you would look upon me, foolish boy, then reveal your true self.
How?
Hear me in earnest, and respond in kind. A blind man asks you to describe the sunset. A poor girl offers to sell you a rotten apple from her basket. A harem slave asks for help. Her master will beat her once he learns of her escape. She offers her services. An old man who reeks of the world's worst stenches asks for shelter. After many years of correspondence with a lady, you propose. Upon
You feel a strange sensation overcoming your body. You feel a sharp pain as your limbs begin to stiffen. Hey, looks aren't everything.
If you would look upon me,
How?
a poor, a harem, and after many years, you are not repelled by me. You are not transformed. The enchantment is broken. Forgive me. I have been too hasty in appraising you. It would seem that I possess something of the hard-heartedness I accused you of having.
Considering my predecessors, I think your opinion was understandable.
How can I thank you? Please.
If it would please you, I would have this unique stone.
It would, though I am loath to ask. I would have you first do a favor for me.
Certainly.
I have all but forgotten my own appearance, and I should dare not enter the town again until I am made more gentle to the eye.
Assuredly, you would make not even the most dazzling sunrise more attractive to the senses.
I thank thee for the compliment. However, I still desire a means to appraise myself. I have none, for once transformed into a gorgon, all were destroyed in my terrible rage. Bring me a looking glass, and I will gladly grant you the stone.
I will do as you ask, my lady.
I am most grateful to you. You may have the stone if that is your will.
Thank you, my lady.
You take the smooth stone.
Farewell, my...
Farewell, good sir. Yet before we part, I wish to make mention of something I have sensed in your aura. Whatever wretched life you have thus far lived, I feel a great change encroaching upon you soon. For good or ill, I know not. Heed well my advice. Beware those who would offer help, particularly if such should bear a price.
I thank you, my lady.
There is naught but sand for many miles in this direction. You think it wise not to wander too far afield. You pull out. You feel a strange pulling sensation. The cave walls crawl with life. An aura seeps from the air as if held by a strong and benevolent will. The strange woman stands before you expectantly. Her ageless face is tranquil, but there's faint urgency behind her gaze. The cave wall.
Welcome, young one.
I saw you through the telescope, but it was a dream.
Neither dreaming nor awake. It was I you saw.
Who are you?
You may think of me as an oracle. Beyond that lies knowledge I cannot impart. A better question for you to ask is, who am I?
I do not understand.
Do you know your identity? Your ancestry? Your heritage?
My name is Gwydion, a servant to the wizard Manannan, and I have lived in Ludor all my life. As for my parents, I have never known them. Manannan told me that they died when I was very young.
Yes. Too young to remember. Too small to resist.
I don't understand.
A lie lurks in shadow and gives way to the luminance of truth. The time has come for your enlightenment.
Hello? Where am I?
These are but visions of life long faded. Observe what you may, but the time of influence has passed.
You have never seen such a place, but hope you will again before long. A child's toy, its use cut short, stirs no memory. You are, for want of a better word, standing in a regal nursery. 2 children sleep soundly in their cradles on this summer's eve. What else would a little princeling play with? Your bedroom has felt that small. The child in the cradle stirs, as if the air has become too cold for him. You wonder if you could stand a closer look.
Manannan.
I thank the Father for this timely gift.
No! I was that boy. Manannan abducted me. Everything he told me was a lie. I need to know more. Tell me.
Then speak, my child. Ask.
My name? Do I have a name? Other than the one Manannan gave me, I mean?
Your name is Alexander. Prince Alexander. You are heir to your father's throne.
My father is a king?
Yes, a very good and noble one. It may come to pass that you shall meet him.
Where do I come from?
You hail from the kingdom of Daventry. Once, it was a place of great beauty. Oldest is the magic that lies deep within that realm, and the earliest histories are connected to it. An important part it is to play in great events to come. But this should not concern you. The land has suffered much in recent times, and must be healed.
Why must the land be healed?
Great misfortunes have plagued Daventry since the arrival of the three-headed dragon. Each year it demands a sacrifice in exchange for sparing the land from its fiery wrath. At first, the king refused, and now, years later, the land burns still from the dragon's flame.
How may it be healed?
The power to do so can be found in a place once linked to the greater land. You will come to it in time, where your value shall be measured by the way you measure value.
Come again?
You will know when it is time to know.
Why does the king do nothing?
There was a time when the king would have risked all to save another. Now, he has barely the spark of life within him. The years have been hard for the royal family. Grief has taken its toll, and the king has borne the brunt of the anguish. Now, with the dragon holding the kingdom's future in its fiery jaws, he has not the spirit to fight the evil. The curse endures still.
Curse?
It is beyond what is yours to reckon with. Concern yourself not with it.
Why does the king do...
It is...
Who are my family?
You are the son of Graham and Valanice, and the twin brother of Rosella, who is even now in great peril.
A sister. In peril?
The dragon came and took nest upon the highest summit. From there, it receives its dues. Lately, its price is the highest yet.
Rosella.
Yes, she is to be the next sacrifice.
You could... The strange woman's... She has not asked you to dance. Your breath illuminates as it passes silently from your throat, drifting to join the gentle aura.
Go now, Prince Alexander. Deal with your enslaver, and venture forth to aid your family at a time they need you most.
Thank you, Oracle.
You feel... You quick You unlock the oak cabinet using the brass key. Inside, you find the wizard's magic wand. You take it with you. You replace the missing page. You place the dried mandrake root in the mortar. You grind the dried mandrake root into a fine powder. You carefully remove the mandrake root powder from the mortar. You carefully place the mandrake root powder in the bowl. A straw. You pour 2 spoonfuls of fish oil into the bowl. You place the cat hair in the bowl. You carefully stir the contents of the bowl. You remove the oily dough from the bowl. You place the oily dough on the tabletop. You shape the oily dough into the shape of a cookie. It hardens quickly. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the turning another into a cat incantation.
Root of mandrake and fish oil, with cat hair over which I toil, to make a meal worse than the rack from this deceiving little snack.
You wave the magic wand over the cookie. You have just created a cookie that, when eaten, will turn the victim into a cat forever. You cut the cactus in half with a knife. You squeeze the cactus juice into the spoon. You add the cactus juice to the bowl. There's nothing. You add the jar of lard to the bowl. You keep the toad. You add 2 drops of toad spittle to the bowl. You carefully stir the contents of the bowl. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the becoming invisible incantation.
Juice of cactus and toad spittle upon myself but just a little. With flame and moisture both present, I shall become most transparent.
You wave the magic wand over the bowl. You carefully pour the invisibility ointment into the empty lard jar. You place, you grind, you carefully, you put the acorn, you pour 1 cup of nightshade juice. You carefully stir the contents of the bowl. You light, you place the bowl on the charcoal. You wait until the nightshade. You pour the contents of the bowl onto the table. With trepidation,
Eggcorn, nightshade, together mixed. Concoction of a deep sleep fixed. From places of much lesser light, you bring to them a long good night.
you wave the magic wand over the powder. You carefully scoop up the powder from the table. With steady hands, you put the sleeping powder into the empty pouch. You now have a magical powder that will put anyone in the vicinity to sleep when poured on the ground in a place where there's both darkness and moisture. The charcoal brazier burns out. You can't. You quickly. You carefully replace the magic wand exactly as you found it. The cabinet. The porridge conceals the crumbled cookie. It still looks as appetizing as ever.
I am ravenous. Fix me something immediately.
Manannan is impatiently waiting for his food. You watch, barely able to control a smile from spreading over your face. The wizard chokes on his little snack and clutches his throat. He seems to be turning a somewhat bluish color. As the wizard manages to swallow the tainted, once-hidden cookie, he greedily gulps the remainder of the porridge. You watch, hoping for a sign that the spell will begin its work, but it seems the wizard is...
Something is wrong. I feel strange.
Really? Maybe you should curl up. Have a cat nap.
What was in that porridge? A cookie?
Ah, the cookie. You know, that reminds me.
of a poem. Root of mandrake and fish oil, with cat hair over which I toil.
My spell!
Oh, you know that one.
You!
Yes?
You won't get away with this. You'll be sorry, Gwydion.
My name is Alexander.
You've had You take a moment's respite at the table, then decide you haven't the time. You unlock. Inside, you find the wizard's magic wand. You quickly pull the levers in the correct sequence. This is You add the thimbleful of dew. You add the dog fur to the bowl. You measure 1 spoonful of ground fish scales and add it to the bowl. You add the snake skin to the bowl. You add the chicken feather to the bowl. You mix the bowl's contents by hand until they become doughy. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the Understanding the Language of Creatures incantation.
Fur of beast and reptile skin, with scale and feather too thrown in, grant me sense to comprehend animals of water, earth, and wind.
You wave the magic wand over the bowl. You carefully divide the mixture into 2 pieces and place the dough pieces in your ears. You will now be able to understand the speech of the animals, birds, and fish. You will not, however, be able to speak to them. The spell will last as long as the dough is in your ears. You measure 1 spoonful of salt and pour it into the mortar. You grind the salt with the pestle. You place the sprig of mistletoe in the mortar. You grind the mistletoe with the pestle. You rub the stone in the mixture. You gently kiss the stone. You can't. With trepidation, you prepare to recite the Teleportation at Random incantation.
My kiss so tender I now give, so that I may have a chance to live, seeking a place of trouble less.
when my smooth stone I shall caress.
You wave the magic wand over the stone. You have touching the you have you touching you quickly
A shame what happened to old Roger. Charming old rooster. Oh, he's quite a fox now. Oh, I'll say. Especially after the wizard got through with him. Pity. He comes up to visit after hours. Terribly confused. Poor thing. Can't decide whether to mate or to eat us.
You feel winch, get up!
So ends my fun.
Your spell. The sailors peer at you through bleary eyes and continue swilling their rum. One, who looks like the captain, pauses and drunkenly speaks to you.
Aye, me bucko, be ye wanting passage on me ship? What you running from? Oh, it's no matter, as long as you got gold. Let's me see how much you got. The drunk doubting.
The leather pouch is securely. You eagerly. As you bring out the purse, the captain snatches it from your hand.
Aye, lad, I sees you do have a wee bit of gold. It's less than me regular fare, but I'll gives you passage anyways. We'll be waiting for you at the wharf, but not for long.
The captain and his men down their rum in one long draft, then leave the tavern. You just.
So when
Your The seaman guarding the ship eyes you shiftily. A large ship is tied to the dock.
Hi, the captain said you'd be coming along. Get on board.
Nothing like a little bit of salt air to perk up a boy's spirits. You feel excited about the upcoming journey.
Ahoy there, me lad. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Captain Bloodlet. I'll be your host for this year voyage, or what you'll be remembering of it. Pretty flag, ain't it?
You're pirates?
Afraid so. We'll be showing you to your quarters now. Set course for the island.
Aye, Captain.
Looking warily around the dank cargo hold, you see nothing but wooden crates piled about. There's an open grating above you. You're not.
What are you doing here? Stay put until we get ashore.
After careful scrutiny, you determine that the lifeboat is both empty and uninteresting. It's too dark to see below, but you know exactly what's down there anyway. The crew's quarters don't look much more comfortable than your own miserable cot, and they're just as cramped. The beds.
As soon as we drop anchor, we'll head for shore. The treasure's assuredly still there, waiting for me. Us.
Do you think the map is accurate?
No reason to think otherwise. The last captain of the ship insisted the map was genuine. 'Twas the last thing he said before I ran him through.
What about our new passenger? You think he's up to the task?
Are ye questioning me, Judge?
No, Captain. It's just that we can't be knowing if we can trust him.
You be thinking he'll make a run for it? Fat chance of that. It's a dangerous journey to the center of the island. Even if he made it that far, there's an impassable cliff face on the other side with a sheer drop to the ocean below. And if by some slim chance he managed to climb down, it's a mighty long swim to nearest land. And then there's the sharks.
I guess he doesn't have much of a choice. Do you think there'll be traps on the island, Captain?
Well, of course there be traps, you empty-headed sea urchin. The treasure was buried in the days when those wizard characters used to run things 1,000 years ago, so it be told. The pirate captain to whom the treasure belonged was something of a magician himself. Who knows what deadly devices were conjured up? Well, don't just stand there, go get him!
Aye, Captain.
A few hours later.
Take this parchment. It's got a lot of silly scribbling on it, but it gives you the best route through that jungle. Now get in there and find that treasure.
And try not to get killed.
Aye, it's a lot of trouble finding someone who won't be missed, and who's foolish enough to set foot on my ship.
The pirate looks more into skewering than humoring. The captain's first mate eyes you shiftily.
Quit your prattling, get in there and find me that treasure. I mean, find us that treasure, of course.
You heard that, Captain. Get moving. Unless you want a lump on your rump to match the one on your head instead.
The path leads further into the jungle. A serene natural corridor leads you from the beach to the inner island. Spread across the island is a variety of unspoilt flora. A serene natural corridor leads you from the beach to the inner island. You see an old marble pillar near the chasm. The pillar, you gotta get out. A weight has appeared. It hovers in the air above the bridge. The old map you obtained from the pirate captain is worn and fragile. It may very well be centuries old. You examine the treasure map and read the writing scrawled upon it. Through all of life's long, lonely walks, or skips, runs, or trips, true balances are keenly sought. Take heed to avoid tips. A tasteful trio, all distinct, are ways to find new density. Their traits, most heavy, norm, and light, will weigh against longevity.
I don't see how I might.
You'll soon see for yourself whether the world is flat. You pull the lever. The braces on the side where you came from snap back into place. You push the lever. The braces on the other side snap into place. Even here, gravity is a constant. You pull the lever. Begin you shall across the sea, its clear hue like the sky, to find yourself on endless sand, like blood, and yet bone dry, and then to luscious fields of wheat, a wide expanse of crops, through waving grasses growing. Begin you shall across the sea, its clear. Begin you shall across. Maybe the map should be color-coded. You begin you shall across the sea. You can't. Begin you shall across the sea. It's you begin you shall across the sea. It's maybe the map should be colored. You maybe the map should be colored. You can begin you shall across the sea. Maybe the map should be colored. Begin you shall across. You You take the stone plaque off the ground. What's in a name save for its sounds? They lie close by, look close around. For in creatures both small and great, the way is paved through Saren's gate. You feel as you a starkly angled stone
Who are you?
An echo of the first mage and pirate Captain Saran, who once derived value from only earthly things. Long ago I concealed them at this place, riches beyond what wealthy men do dream. Does the thirst for treasure bring you here? Are stones and coins your reason for risking precious life?
They are, though I care little for such things. I am seeking to return to a home from which I was unjustly taken, to parents whom I cannot recall.
My death occurred here in a time beyond your reckoning. Your life, a mere moment, is of no concern. The treasure, my only care, binds my soul to this place. Do you desire it?
I desire what I need to reach my homeland safely. Without your treasure, I am doomed.
Then a chance you shall have to claim it. You have demonstrated your cunning and skill. Now a more important trial begins. This island once belonged to the realm known as Daventria, when land and sea once met as equals upon the earth.
Daventria? Oh, Daventria.
Greatest among us was its ruler, Leginimor. He created the greatest of treasures, orbs of power, to aid the land in crisis. When he fell at the hands of his betrayer, the orbs were lost, scattered about the realm and beyond. One orb contained the power to heal the very earth itself.
How might I do this?
In the order of value lies your salvation. Choose well, and the treasure kept here for these past 1,000 years shall be yours. Choose poorly, and you shall die. Choose first the item of greatest importance, then the second, and so on.
The craft of construction. Consume it today, conceive a tomorrow. The epitome of it is a magnificent. The craft consume.
Now.
The craft.
Now. True value eludes you, young one.
Your priorities might need some adjustment. It is the ethereal.
You now.
This
true.
Your priorities might need some. Your the archway, the arch. Consume it to the craft. It is a magnificent jewel.
Now. True.
Your priorities might need some. The epitome, the craft.
No. No. True value.
Your priorities might need.
True.
Your priorities might need. The chart maps out Treasure Island. The chart. The epitome of academic education.
Now. Now. You have chosen well. The treasure shall be yours. Take it, and the worthless trinkets contained within.
You wonder what great treasures lie within.
Zounds!
The pirate captain may not look kindly upon you keeping your share of the gold. Better leave it in the chest.
Farewell.
Did you get the treasure? Well,
Into the...
After your...
Get off your bunk, you lazy landlubber. Get to the galley and get the stove running.
You have chosen well. The treasure shall be yours. Take it, and the worthless trinkets contained within.
The pirate captain may...
What is this?
A trinket I acquired in my early days. 'Twas a highway to begin a low life. robbing the first king's grave. That vessel in the likeness of his hands was in place of his own. Take it.
Zound!
You put the gold coins back in the chest.
Farewell.
Did you get the treasure? Well, you've proved you're worth something, at least for now. Maybe we won't be killing you just yet.
Into the boat! Move it!
After your return from Treasure Island, you spend several more days as a cabin boy.
Get off your bunk, you lazy landlubber! Get to the galley and get the stove running! As long as you make yourself...
It's an old wood stove. The ship's galley houses a large iron stove surrounded by many pots, pans, and barrels. A long table occupies most of the floor space. The wooden dining table has seen better days. The remains of many meals are lodged between the stained oaken planks, and its top is deeply gouged. These filthy pots and pans are used to cook the pirates' meals. Poor devils. The ship's galley... It's an old... You like your...
The upper deck could do with a good scrubbing. Now get moving! You took your merry time. Go over to the captain's cabin and dust the shelves.
Meanwhile...
There you are. I have been looking all over the castle.
Where else would I be? Where else could I be?
What are you doing?
Only what I can. Nothing. Save watch my land fall into ruin while that winged abomination continues its reign of terror.
It serves not to dwell on matters beyond your...
My wife, do you not feel my anguish? Our own daughter has been taken. And I allowed it.
You had no choice.
There is always a choice.
True. You might have chosen Daventry's destruction. Years ago, you defied the dragon. Even now, the flames still lick at our crops. Imagine the suffering had you resisted further.
As for your anguish, every day I weep for Rosella and our son.
No, I cannot bear to hear his name. Not now.
As you wish. But you must not let this destroy you. Daventry cannot afford to be without its king, nor I without the man I wed.
Were it only that he were here, I would do anything to heal my beloved realm, to make everything right.
Orders, Captain?
We're heading for Eusperia. Time to put all that booty to good use. What is it?
That course will take us close to Daventry, won't it?
Yeah? You got a problem with that?
I must be confessing something to you, Captain. I be getting a tad nervous sailing this close to Daventry. What with that dragon I hear out telling those parts?
Ah, you lily-livered codfish! That beast sits over yon mountains, never comes near the shore from what I hear.
Hope you're right, Captain.
Of course I'm right, you jelly-legged squid! That reminds me, when we reach Eusperia, we'll see if we can't sell our new young'un in the market. Should fetch a pretty price. Oh, and make sure there's someone guarding the hatch. We don't want him trying to make a break for Daventry shore as we sail by.
Aye, Captain.
As the pirates spot land nearby, you are unceremoniously dumped in the cargo hold again to keep you from escaping.
He's been safely locked away in the hold, Captain. Say, have you seen this stuff we took off him? That kid carried some strange things. Where do you think he got them?
How should I know? I've heard tell a wizard lives in Ludor. The kid seemed eager to leave. He probably stole those things.
There's something else too. Seems like a map.
Another treasure map?
Don't think so. Seems like a map of Ludor to me. Look, this here's the town where we made port. Whoa!
Better get myself a chest with a lock on it when we reach Eusperia.
You're not. You retrieve your stolen items. You're not. The leather pouch is secure. As your sleep spell takes effect, a silence descends over the ship. You've managed to make it to the shore of Daventry, but your magic essence is all gone. This is the western shore which fringes Daventry. You can barely believe you've made it this far. A vast expanse of blue again beckons. You ignore it. A prowling shark lurks offshore. To the north you see a forest. It warms you to see this new world thriving with life. The water. See you around. The water. You don't. See you around. A pro. There. You should. A winding trail gradually ascends these hills to the mountains and beyond. Many trees have sprouted along the natural path, despite the surplus of shade. The mountain goat is its own king. You are at the foot of a high, snowy mountain range. A tricky path winds its way up the steep face of a looming cliff. You A small mountain stream trickles on its way to destiny. Gravity 1, Alexander 0. The snowy cave is large with thick icicles hanging from its entrance. It's dark inside. As you make your way through the mountains, you suddenly notice something approaching you in the distance. Something that doesn't seem friendly.
I love a warm meal.
You try to fake an impression of chilliness.
Now. Don't sell yourself short.
You run. You run.
Did you bring me any seasoning? I'm fresh out.
You hastily shake your head.
No matter.
The leather. You quickly pour the remaining sleeping powder on the floor. These caves are really dark. Whatever happened to wrong way, turn back? As you make your way through the mountains, you suddenly notice something approaching you in the... You try to fake...
Now. Did you bring...
You haste...
No.
You... These caves are really...
Lost.
Whatever happened to wrong way, turn back? Thanks to your navigational skills, you've managed to outwit the abominable snowman, and the way to Daventry is clear. You are making your way down the eastern side of these mountains, along a path which rims a narrow ridge. Looking back, you can see the snowy peaks you've risked your life traversing. Perhaps the worst is now behind you. The snow-capped peaks thrust their way upward towards a reddening sky. Huge boulders lie scattered about, at rest from their tumble down the mountain. A new construction of steps ascends the cavern. The jar of The dragon is every bit as fearsome as you imagine. Its green scales look hard and impregnable. 3 massive heads blow flame and smoke atop its writhing necks. The sight of it makes you shiver. It's your sister, Rosella.
Stormy brew. Churn anew.
It's your... You untie your sister.
I thank you, my brave sir. Do I know you?
Perhaps. We may have shared a cradle once.
I beg your pardon?
My name is Alexander, of Daventry.
Rosella regards you with a look of bewilderment, then a hint of suspicion.
Prove it.
I don't know how I could.
My mother told me once that my brother had a peculiar birthmark.
Well, in that case...
On his right buttock.
I see. Well, if that is what it will take to prove it to you.
Thank you. I am sorry I did not believe you, brother.
After all you've been through, I understand completely. I just hope I don't have to prove my identity to the entire kingdom this way. Tell me about our parents.
Our mother, Queen Valenice, is as kind as she is beautiful. She is also wise and counsels father when he is in need of advice.
And our father?
King Graham has been the bravest and most honorable man this kingdom has ever known. It is only in recent years that our country's misfortunes have taken their toll on him.
I wish I could have been there for him.
You are here now. I think that seeing you will do a great deal to mend his ailing heart.
Why did the dragon come to Daventry?
I do not know. On occasion, I have heard Father mumble something about a curse.
Most curious. I am glad to finally be home.
As am I. It was difficult growing up knowing that I had a brother, yet fathoming neither your whereabouts nor whether you were safe. Though I cannot explain it, somehow I knew you were still alive. I hope your life thus far has not been too unpleasant.
Let's just say that I'm not overly fond of evil wizards.
Then you have something in common with Father. Though he did not know it at the time, one used to serve under him many years ago.
I have had quite an adventure while journeying here.
I can imagine. Perhaps I too will have an adventure someday. Well, preferably one without a 3-headed dragon.
Agreed.
Oh, milady, Milady, you are free! Could it be to do with the sudden storm I beheld atop Cloud Mountain?
Indeed it was. And I have this noble man to thank for rescuing me.
Incredible! And to think that the dragon is dead and gone after all this time. He is dead and gone, right?
Completely.
Oh, amazing! Noble sir, whom do I and all of Daventry thank for this miracle?
Go ahead.
Good sir, I am Prince Alexander of Daventry.
The gnome gives you a thoroughly mystified look. Then gradually a grin begins to spread over his old wrinkled face. The grin becomes a great smile, and soon the gnome is overcome with joy.
Wonderful, sensational, marvelous. Yes, it is you, isn't it? I knew it. From the moment I saw you, I just knew it.
Then what did you just ask?
Shh! I must run to the castle and let everybody know. The dragon is dead and Prince Alexander has returned.
Today's special, Prince...
Mind your footing, Alexander. The ground up ahead doesn't look stable.
You won't go there again.
Mind your foot.
You won't go there again. You won't go there. You won't go there again. You won't go there. The man stands alone in the gloomy clearing. He wears a simple hooded garment and pays you little attention.
Hello?
I am as I am.
Who are you?
One who remembers many things. My wisdom once served the king.
This is your...
I called it that once, before yours had meaning. It has hidden something from me.
Can I help you find it?
Not as you are, my would-be sire.
You know me.
I know many things. The now, then, and every age in between.
But how could you?
Leave me. My time wanes with your wasteful banter.
Rosella! The Royal Weaver told us of your rescue. I could scarcely believe it. And this?
is Prince Alexander of Daventry.
Son?
Yes, Mother.
My heart has ached with longing for this day. Your absence has been a terrible burden for us all. Come, your father awaits us.
So ends the first. At last.
Father!
Rosella! Are you all right?
As good as can be. Father, you look.
As one who has worried more than any thought possible, for longer than most thought him capable. Do not concern yourself. Is this?
Yes, Father.
I hadn't dared hope for this moment.
Why does your crown glow?
I don't... Wait. The father wanted the crown to find the item. This must be it.
That old thing.
Who is the father?
It doesn't matter. Today, his search ends.
Perhaps that will end his curse. Perhaps its second will not come to pass.
Yes, perhaps. Let us adjourn to the throne room. I have traveled many roads, some joyful, others dark. They have led me far and wide through all manner of danger. Yet they always brought me home, to Daventry. Your road, Alexander, has led you from us. For the longest time, we lost all hope of seeing you again. But the road, it seems, saw fit to return you as well. Along every step of my journeys, I have worn this, my adventurer's hat, a symbol of my zeal and youth. It is right that it should now pass to younger blood. Receive it, and know the man who was your father. May it lead you to fortune and great adventure as much as this world will share. To your futures.